Hello everyone, hopefully you can hear me, yeah, that's an echo. Thanks for joining me today. I'm here to talk to you about something slightly different, about modernising technical communications using 3D, so things such as user manuals, service procedures, technical support documentation. So a little bit about me to start with. It was a beach day, so excuse the picture. My name's Pat Parker. I've worked for Numatic International for over 33 years now, and for the past 5 years I've been the technical publishing and projects manager. So, who are Numatic? Numatic is a multinational-based company established in 1969. We're UK-based and proud to say that we still make all our products in the UK. We're based in Sleepy Charge, Somerset, and have over 1,000 employees on this site, as well as many more worldwide. The site covers around 30 hectares, and for those of you that are not farmers, that takes around 5 hours to walk around. For a complete factory tour. We've got suppliers all over the world, and we've got a reputation for being one of the most reliable brands in our field. So some of you are probably still sat there thinking, I've never heard of Numatic International. What about if I show you this? Recognise him? Everybody's got to recognise it, haven't they? It's Henry, obviously. Henry the Hoover, we first made back in 1981, sold over 50 million units worldwide so far. Been voted one of the UK's most popular brands, and he's one of the most recognisable products in Europe. So you can find it in your home. You can also Houses of Parliament. Everywhere, absolutely, check it out on Google, you'll find pictures everywhere. But whilst Henry may literally be the face of Numatic, he's only an actual small part of our product range. So we design, manufacture, supply and support a wide range of domestic and commercial solutions, such as vacuum cleaners, floor scrubbers, trolleys, mopping systems. And it's my job to create all the instruction guides and user manuals that go with these. So many people never consider how manuals are actually created. And sometimes they kind of appear to be an afterthought. So you've all probably had something that's got a scrappy bit of paper in it, black and white photos, you can't really understand them. But instruction manuals are actually legally really, really important to a business such as ours. So to put things into perspective, several years ago, we were printing around 1 million manuals a year, about 60 pages each, cost around £650,000 a year to print. That was just the cost for printing. You then add labour costs, translation costs, photographers, etc. So our expenditure was quite huge in this area. But more importantly, our documentation is something that our end users rely on, and it's really critical to the way our business works. So I was tasked with improving this, making the customer experience better, but I also wanted to obviously speed up the creation and save money. So if we take a look at our old workflow, and everybody loves a workflow, you can see there's a lot of steps, several of which have to occur before we can even start to create manuals, because we're using photos, a physical product had to exist, and design changes are really difficult and time-consuming to update. So photos also meant a lot of time was spent cleaning images up in things such as Photoshop and Illustrator. So we felt there was a massive room for improvement. So first of all, using photos clearly an issue. Slowed down the release cycle and made things hard to update, but it had another effect. Because we were using photos, we were printing everything in colour, which added to our print costs massively. We're also using a lot of text to explain things, and it's not good for the end user when they open up a manual and just see a wall of text. It's really confusing for them. And it's also costing a lot to translate. So we translate into 10 languages, each manual, £700 each, 500 manuals. It's a lot of expenditure. So since we're spending so long in the process of creation, we wasn't really giving us a lot of time to give a good user experience at the end. So we use SolidWorks as our CAD system. We've had it for many, many years. We have the whole suite of products, and it's been really, really effective. We spend a lot of time, money, and expertise modeling every product in 3D for our production process. So it seemed like a good idea to try and reuse this data in some way for our technical communications. And as I said, the printing, everything in colour was one of the first changes we made was to go to black and white, which seems pretty obvious, but black and white, you put that on a bit of paper, photos are blurry, you can't really focus in on it. So we thought about using screenshots of our CAD. Again, you still got to take it, you got to get the R&D guys in, and then you still got to clean up afterwards, and it just doesn't look very professional. So we looked at it and we opted for SolidWorks Composer. We thought we'd give this a try. It enabled us to take our CAD files, create images for our manuals directly from them. It's not the easiest of the programs to use at first, but when you get to grips with it, you know, it's quite good. I had to take a training course from our reseller. But once you get going, it can manipulate files and create views that can then be saved out as 2D images, which can then be put back into InDesign to actually start creating the manuals. Because we could easily manipulate CAD and create these images, we could reduce the amount of text required, replacing them with clear pictures, which also had the benefit of reducing our translation costs. Another workflow, you've got to love them. Our workflow improved, cutting out the need for a physical prototype to exist, meaning we could start the documentation earlier on. Composer, in our case, just creates 2D images. We don't use any of the other stuff in it. So it essentially replaced the need for a photographer and reduced the cost for the need for a graphic designer. Because we're more flexible with our imaging, in some cases the number of pages actually increased because now we could give more detail. So compared to photos used previously, it was a lot better. But we still saw a saving of around £130,000 a year just by going to black and white line drawings. So overall, this was a great success. We realized that using CAD data that was done by R&D and repurposing it for our manuals saved time and saved money, but ultimately we were still creating a 2D manual. So we were quite happy with these. We could have stopped there, put my feet up, got a cup of tea. But we always wanted to be ahead of the curve at Numatic. And the primary goal of ours is the best possible solution for our end users. So I thought it'd be a good idea. If we get the right slide. I thought it would be a good idea if everything we did could be seen in 3D on screen. You could move it around, graphics, zoom in, rotate, etc. And I realized that going to 3D could actually offer us several benefits in our communications. A huge one is reducing print. Obviously, from a cost-saving point of view, but also from an environmental aspect, because Numatic are really, really focused on being sustainable. So reducing the amount of paper and ink reduces our carbon footprint and helps the environment. We spend a lot of time and effort modeling our designs in SolidWorks, and seeing that we're using them to create 2D assets saves a lot of time. But it seems a shame to have these 3D models you spent loads of time on and not creating the 3D content. So because we didn't need to save images out and updates were quicker, saving time, this allowed us to start creating documentation and getting to market a lot quicker. And we also felt that 3D could offer a better experience and increased understanding. 2D content's difficult for people to understand, and it's limited in the content that it can create. If a user can zoom in, rotate the model, it leaves a little room for error. It can also reduce the translation as you can animate operations and procedures, so there's less use for text. And finally, as a business, we're proud to be market leaders, and we want to stay that way. So content needs to be more interesting to enhance the brand experiences, and offering 3D technical communications helps differentiate us from our competitors and really starts to meet the user's expectations in today's world. So we looked at what was available at the time, and our first step was our support app, New Assist, which is a complete digital training guide for our products. We also created New Design, which you can see here, platform that enables you to fully configure our trolleys online in 3D. And if you've got tablets here and you want to be a bit interactive, you can go to our site, which is pneumaticsupport.com, and all this stuff's on there. So not only did this help us with the support, but the online configurator also helped us with sales and marketing. Potential customers love the ability to be able to choose their setup and see it live before being put in touch with sales. And New Assist is now a key part of our sales packages with over 4,000 hits per month. And New Design, as you can see here, is having a complete new rebuild for 2024. So when we implemented these, online 3D is still relatively new. Getting CAD models into a format suitable for online viewing is not an easy thing to do. We used a system called KB Max, which is what you can see here. Initial cost was high, it required coding experience, and the ongoing subscription cost is around £35,000 a year, and that's not including labour costs for the guys that actually build the configurators at work. But with new assist and new design platforms proving to be very successful, it's really proved our need to incorporate 3D into our technical communications. So one of the main problems, pandemic came along, was that a lot of our commercial customers wanted to see what they were buying and not pick it from one of our brochures. So since our customers and sales team loved what we'd already done with 3D, one of our most recent jumps in technology is to move forward to augmented reality. Customers can view our trolley range as well as a growing range of vacuums in AR on their premises, and we're always looking at different ways to use this. The system we're using at the moment is Ariel. It's quite basic but effective, and we're hoping to improve on this in the future. So with all this in mind, 3D is a clear benefit to Numatic and our customers, and over the past 18 months, we've moved towards 3D interactive content in a big way. We wanted to take our technical communications into the next dimension, and we looked for a way to fully create 3D interactive instructions. So we discovered a company called Cardassia, which has been fantastic for us. It ticks a lot of boxes, it can reuse your CAD, it updates easily when you change things, and I can create 3D outputs as well as movies and 2D images. And it's easy to use and extremely cost effective. What I immediately liked about Cardassia was the easy use, how quick it got up and running. It took me about a week to train one of my guys to do the basics in it. To get our SolidWorks designs online, you simply use their add-in and it creates a Cardassia project. From there, it's similar to Composer, but a lot easier to use. So you build your views, steps, change colors, set cameras, move objects, and add markups. Once you're happy with your project, you simply publish it. This can be done in a series of 2D images, a video, or what we use it mostly for is interactive content. Once you publish it, it creates a URL and a QR code, and you just add that link to your website. So when someone opens the link, they get a great looking set of instructions that they can interact with and really get a good understanding of our products. Everything animates, so we found that we're using even less print, and the feedback's been really positive. So this is a test project I created. It looks great, a nice amount of interaction, adding to the overall experience for the end user. The whole process is so quick compared to our 2D manuals, which normally take 2 to 4 weeks to create. I can get one of these up and running and online within about 5 working days. So back to our original workflow. You can see we managed to reduce down straight away when repurposing our CAD for 2D. In the future, we aim to simplify and speed things up even more with 3D instructions. So at the moment, by law, we're still required to put paper instructions in every box because it's a commercial product. But we've started to add a QR code and WW addresses and QR codes that Cardassia generates to our printed manuals, so you can view the online version as well as the printed version. So ideally, in the future, we'll just have a very basic printed sheet in the box with a QR code on it and any brief instructions. It just saves us a lot of printing costs as well as being a lot more environmentally friendly. And even further into the future, we hope to be able to cut out printing entirely, and that will simplify our workflow even further. So a few other things I'd like to mention here at this point. Because Cardassia can also save out videos at no extra effort, we also use those. They're available online as something we call a newbie and out-of-the-box instruction. And it's a great way of giving our end users multiple ways to digest our documentation. And while we haven't fully transitioned to Cardassia as yet, we're hoping to in the future, and we'll then have a single source to create all our documentation. So going forward, we want to explore and utilize 3D as much as possible. Part of this will be consolidating all the tools that we currently use. Currently, we use Adobe products, tools for AR, online configurators, as well as Composer. We would like to fully migrate to Cardassia from Composer as soon as possible. And the guys at Cardassia are also looking at putting in tools for AR and configurators. So hopefully that will really reduce the amount of different software licenses we've got to buy. I think at some point European legislation will turn away from printed media and the environmental impact it creates. And we're determined that we'll be fully prepared for this when it happens. So, in summary, you can see that we've already made huge savings both in the costs and in our carbon footprints, and we're constantly reducing the need for paper throughout the business. Eventually, we hope to be in a place where no printing is required, but this is a little bit further into the future. So in summary, I thought I'd list a few take-homes from our experience in transforming our technical communications at Numatic. It's always a big decision when choosing to change your processes, but from our point of view, it's only been a very, very positive experience. And we're keen to continue to invest in future technologies to keep us ahead of the game and offering the best-in-class solutions. Your CAD model's accurate, and you've already spent the time to create it, so reuse it. It's much more flexible than photographs or redrawing things, and it means you can start your documentation so much earlier on in the design process. Reusing your 3D also cuts out the need for expensive rewrites or having to recall manuals. You just update the model, republish it, and you're good to go, and you conversion it. So with all the devices on the horizon at the moment, such as Apple's Vision Pro and the Power of Current browsers, I think it's pretty clear that 3D is the future. We've seen the saving input we've made at Numatic that we've already made in costs that is without factoring in transport, storage, and other related costs. This will only get better in the future when we become more reliant or less reliant on paper. So, thank you very much for coming today and listening to me waffle on. My mouth's getting a bit dry. It's worth pointing out that Cadacio are here today if you'd like to talk to them. They're exhibiting in Stand A24 at the Butworth. Also, if you'd like to know any more about 3D interactive or 3D manuals, please go along, speak to them, even if they've given me loads of ideas, so it's worth going along and just talking to them about that. Thanks very much, guys, for listening.